Hello friends, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink with yet another video using Simon's Beautiful Flowers stamp set. If you didn't notice on the title, this is my 20th video using the stamp set. Suffice to say, it is definitely a favorite. I got a comment on the last video using the set and someone's like, you should get a tattoo of that stamp. And honestly, I now that it's been mentioned, I'm like, oh. This would make a beautiful tattoo. But anyway, I'm on my rainbow kick with my 3 colors. I've just been posting video after video after video. It's amazing what you can do with just 3 colors. And actually, several years ago, these same 3 colors, before I even had spray stains, oxides, I don't even think the oxides existed. I had filmed a whole bunch of videos using just these 3 colors. And that's when I crashed my previous laptop. Yes, that'd be about 5-ish years ago, 4 years ago, something. Anyway, crashed that laptop, lost all of that footage, videos and videos. So anywho, I think now I'm finally over the PTSD of that because if you've got a MacBook, you know how much they are. Anyway, I've been really enjoying doing all these different sorts of things, you know, combining the same sets, the same colors, doing different techniques, etc. And as always, I get questions like, well, how would this look, you know, if I do distress spray stains? How would this look with oxide sprays? Or if I use distress oxide inks, well, how would this look with distress inks? And my initial response always is try it out. You know, use what you got. My videos are here to provide inspiration, but use what you have. You don't have to have all the things in all the colors. I have full set syndrome. It's a thing. Plus I love having the options and I love having the colors. So for me, I can't really say like, oh, this one is better than the other because they're different. So for this video, I white heat embossed that image onto Canson XL watercolor paper. I did it twice. And then one I'm going to paint with distress spray stains. The other I'm going to paint with distress oxide sprays. You could use the ink pads for this, you know, smush them down, either one. That works fine. And you can use any other medium, you know, watercolors, etc. What I love personally about using the sprays for watercoloring is they are very concentrated colors and it doesn't take much. Like I was opening the bottles and just, you know, tapping the nozzle onto my little palette here. And even what I have here is a ton. Like I could have done multiple card fronts with it. Now, if I could find my other little palettes, I have little plastic palettes that have more like little wells in them and you could just pour a tiny bit out. But while it's tedious, like dabbing the little nozzles onto the plastic palette, that does give me more control. So I'm not pouring out a ton because again, you don't need much. So this first one, I'm using just the spray stains. So spray stains are very concentrated color and they are completely transparent. So it's like basically dye ink and water within reason because, you know, Rangers got their own formula. So very, very vibrant, very, very colorful. And because they're transparent, you can easily layer the colors, mix them and get all sorts of things. And with these 3, with both, I'm doing the picked raspberry, the mustard seed, and the mermaid lagoon. And you can easily, as I show, get a rainbow of colors with these. And yes, I was aware when I did the underlay, like the first layer, I mixed up my rainbow order and did like the purple and blue in the wrong spot. And then I realized it when I did the second layer. So I fixed it, just painted over it. It's fine. Because that's the thing too with doing messy watercolor like this is your first layer. I slap on water, you know, get everything really wet. And then I do just a wash basically of color. And I kept it light. I even used a tissue to kind of sop up some of the excess, dried it. And it's when you go in and add the extra layers of color that it really makes things pop and makes it look less of a hot mess. But it also, again, takes practice. Trust me. When I first saw people doing like messy watercolor in card making, I was like, how? Why? How? You know, because I am a control freak. I've been getting a lot of comments about that from people. Like, I can't do sprays, I can't do the powders. Like, I know I'm one of those people. But the more I've just been experimenting over the last few years, you know, getting these sprays and the shimmer powders and all the things, it's fun. And if you're not into it, that's great. Again, use what you got, use what you like, have fun with it, you know? So the first one was just spray stains. This one is oxide sprays. Even though the colors are the same, they are vastly different in the way they look and in some ways the way they perform. Oxides are very unique to the Distress line. I have yet to come across a product that is even really close. Like, there's a few or a couple like inks. I've never come across a spray that's the same as an oxide spray, but they're just different and you'll get a different look. And I would say oxides look more, I want to say almost pastel. Like, I don't like using the word chalky because that just usually has sort of gives people a negative idea, like, ew, it's chalky. But these they're different, and I like them each for their own sort of thing. The fun thing though with oxides is they have some really neat reactive properties when you're using them with water. And I love painting them with them like this, but it's also really fun when you're spraying and doing more of the mixed media sort of thing, and you can get some really fun results. So that's also why, don't ask me which is better with anything. It's like, should I get this or this? Because I'm the one who's like, I would add both to cart. Like, seriously, it just, yeah, depends on the look you're going for, what you want to work with, and do you need all the colors? You don't, but I do. So, however, here you go. You can start with 3. You know, these 3 can literally give you a rainbow. You know, you don't have to start with every single one. I didn't start with every single one. Anyway, I'm getting off on a complete tangent. I had it all planned what I was going to say to this, and I haven't said any of it, so whatever. I had fun coloring these. And this is super sped up, but I'm not showing anything like groundbreaking with my coloring. I literally did the exact same thing as the first one. I did, you know, plain water, light wash, dried it, went in then with more intense color, painted that, added a bit of splatter. So on the left is the spray stain, on the right is the oxide spray. Very similar, just a different look. And the spray stains are always going to be more vibrant because of their like transparent properties. The oxides are always going to be slightly muted, and then that like pastel-y sort of chalky look to them. And you can also mix it, like use both, you know. I could have done that. Now my brain's like, ooh, I should paint another one. Anyway, they're great. These sprays are a ton of fun. I've shown them in a bunch of different ways. If I get the time, if I remember, I will sit down and do another playlist. Like, I have so many playlists on YouTube, but I've done so many videos using these sprays over how many years now, in so many different ways. Like, I just enjoy playing with them. So anywho, these were dry. I put them in my splat box. I mixed some Perfect Pearl powder with water, splattered that with my fan brush, and then I also splattered white gouache mixed with a little bit of water, splattered that all over. The white gouache, in a lot of spots, it'll kind of reactivate those sprays and it will absorb the color, so it doesn't end up being like a harsh white splatter. It just ends up adding a little extra something. So I let that dry as well. And then I trimmed these panels down. I trimmed them down to smaller than what my A2 card front will be. So I did these like 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then while those had been drying, I die cut some black cardstock and some glossy black cardstock with the CZ Design Hugs wafer die. So I'm stacking just a regular black cardstock together, and the top layer will be the glossy black cardstock, which is just chef's kiss. Another way around this would be to just do glossy accents on the top layer, but if I can avoid doing that, because no matter what I tell myself, and I try really hard to like set things aside, but like when it's like glossy accents, you can't help but like poke at it as it's drying. Like, is it dry yet? And then you wreck it. So if I can avoid that by using like glossy cardstock, anything, you know, I'm going to do that. But another option is just use glossy accents. So I stack those together with craft tacky glue, the top layer being the glossy cardstock. And then I still had the stamp, my big beautiful flowers stamp, in my MISTI. And again, like as I was editing this, I was like, what was I doing? I could have just taken the stamp off the lid and just positioned it on the card. But no, I sat here for I don't even know how long, like repositioning the card base to like line up where I wanted the stamp. Like some days I swear my brain is just whatever. Anyway, got the card base positioned. I used Post-it tape to mask off where the score line is. And then I inked up the stamp with Simon's Fog ink. I did think about doing like the 3 Oxide inks, you know, same as the colors. I already did a video showing that, like the whole inspiration. That's great. But this time I was like, you know what? I think it'll be kind of just nice to have the outside like bright and vibrant, and then the inside's going to be just soft and nice. And I didn't add any sentiments to the inside either. These cards give me more options when it comes time, because I just used a little sentiment from the beautiful flower set that said sending lots of. So the front of the card says sending lots of hugs. And then the inside just has the floral image stamped. And then that way it can be like birthday, thinking of you. Heck, even sympathy. I really don't like really super muted, depressing colors for sympathy cards. I get it, but you know what I mean? Sometimes people just need a bright and cheerful hug, you know? So, yeah, these just give me way more options by not pigeonholing them into like a specific theme, which is, I always need to have more of cards like this on hand. So, I got those little sentiments stamped with Versafine Claire Nocturne ink, and then I adhered the die cut sentiments. And then the backs of these panels I coated with Simon's Big Mama foam tape, nice and thin. And then it'll also like really adhere. These didn't warp too much. I didn't even do that in the beginning. Like, you know, I'm always telling people like use the sticky mats and tape down your projects to keep them from warping. And then these, I was just like slapping on water and painting, but just, yeah, I don't take my own advice 99% of the time. So do with it as you will. I adhered them with the Big Mama foam tape. And then I also used Studio Katia's round iridescent gems, which I've been raving about in recent videos. These are pretty. They have lots of facets on them, and they're just, they sparkle in the light. I love them. So I added a bunch of them to both of these cards. And then I paired them with black envelopes. And I'm going to turn the flashlight on my phone here. It was kind of unnecessary, but it gives you can see the shine of the die cut and like the perfect pearl powder splatter, and then of course the bling, and yeah, just fun. But like everything, you know, when it comes to whatever medium you're using for coloring or stamping or ink blending, anything, if you don't have exactly what I'm using, use what you have, you know. Use what stamp set you have, use what tools and inks you've got, and see what happens. Like that's like 99% of the fun in this hobby is it's like, ooh, I love what so-and-so made. It was so fabulous. Let's see what I got. Go through my stash, make it inspired by, and so often I come up with like really good ideas based on someone else's, but using what I've got. So hopefully that rambling made sense. I'll have all the links, all the info down below for any of those that are interested. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you all very soon in the next video. Bye.